So the 2024 United States presidential election has come and gone, and it served as a clear referendum on the Democrat Party's direction, leaving little doubt that many Americans are dissatisfied with the current trajectory of the Democrat Party. The Harris-Walz campaign, while differing in some respects from the Biden administration, they ultimately failed to offer the significant changes or compelling vision that Americans were hoping for. Instead of resonating with a broad swath of voters, the Democrat Party came across as disconnected and unresponsive to the needs and concerns of everyday Americans, particularly those of us in middle America and in the working class. The results of this election were a sobering message to the Democrat Party. Americans, a big majority of Americans, are not buying what you're selling. The Harris-Walz ticket ran on a platform that attempted to position itself as a moderate evolution of the Biden administration's policies, but this positioning was more rhetoric than substance. While there was talk of a more pragmatic approach to governance, many Americans saw it more as an attempt to repackage existing policies rather than enact a real change. This disconnect underscored a major issue for the Democrat Party. They failed to listen to the voices of everyday Americans who felt ignored, particularly those who are struggling with issues like inflation, stagnant wages, and a shifting economy. For many Americans, it felt as though the Democrats were speaking past them, focusing on an ultra-left agenda that prioritized social policies over immediate economic relief. Americans facing the tangible pressures of rising cost of living wanted a change that directly impacted their lives. While the Democrat Party offered, however, was a continuation of the same priorities they had championed for previous years, and this choice ultimately alienated more voters than it attracted. One of the key demographic shifts highlighted in this election was the defection of middle American and working class voters from the Democratic base. For decades, Democrats have relied on the support of these groups, promising policies that would support the average American worker. However, the Democrat platform in 2024, with its focus on progressive social issues, felt out of touch with the immediate needs of middle-class families. In contrast, President Trump's campaign appealed directly to these voters. They were presenting an image of economic renewal and national pride that resonated deeply with those who truly felt disenfranchised. Now, Trump's message focused on the themes of job security, economic opportunity, the rejection of perceived elitism within the political establishment. And for many working class voters, especially male voters, Trump represented a fresh alternative, a leader who prioritized their concerns, finally, over those of a distant political class or the ultra-left minorities. Now, while Trump's appeal to white working-class voters has been a hallmark of his campaign, the 2024 election revealed a growing support for him among minority voters as well. Trump's outreach to Hispanic and Black voters, coupled with his emphasis on economic opportunity and entrepreneurship, struck a chord with many who have felt that the Democrat Party took their votes for granted. Many minorities felt overlooked by a Democrat Party that, while vocal in advocating for minority rights, struggled to address the economic issues facing these communities. In a promising return to American greatness agenda, Trump's campaign managed to build a more inclusive coalition of minorities than in past elections, and that emphasized a shared economic interest over identity politics. Now, the growing appeal of Trump among minority groups is a clear indicator that the Democrat Party's approach may be losing effectiveness, even with its traditional loyal voter bases. What does this all mean? The election results should have sent a clear message to the Democrat Party. American voters are increasingly skeptical of the Democrat Party's platform and leadership, if there is any. For many voters, it seemed as though the Democrats were focusing on ideological purity rather than addressing the immediate practical needs of a nation. This left the Democrat Party in a very precarious situation, as their focus on progressive social issues alienated many moderate and centrist voters. At a time when Americans are asking themselves whether they're better off today than they were 4 years ago, the Harris-Walz campaign struggled to provide a clear answer. The reality was that for many, the answer was no. Rising inflation, high gas prices, and economic uncertainty continued to weigh on Americans, especially the middle-class, middle America voter. And the Democrat Party's inability to articulate a compelling vision for the future contributed to their loss of support. Another key issue plaguing the Democrat Party in this election was the lack of clear leadership and organization. With President Biden stepping down, the party was in search of a new figurehead who could unite diverse factions. Vice President Kamala Harris emerged as the chosen successor, yet her leadership faced very significant challenges. The campaign was marked by infighting and conflicting messages with no single unifying vision to rally around. This lack of cohesion further distanced the party from the voters. The voters were looking for stability and strong leadership in a time of uncertainty. The Democrat Party's inability to present a unified front not only made it difficult for them to articulate their platform effectively, but also raised deep concerns among middle class and middle American voters about their capacity to govern effectively. Now, the 2024 election results should serve as a wake-up call for the Democrat Party. They revealed a party that's struggling to connect with a huge, significant portion of the electorate, and one that's increasingly questioning whether the Democrats have the answers to the country's most pressing issues. Instead of focusing on pragmatic policies that address the concerns of middle America, the working class, the Democrats have allowed themselves to become associated with a brand of politics that many see as out of touch with reality. The focus on progressive social policies, while important to a segment of their base, has alienated many others who feel that the party is ignoring the bread and butter issues like jobs, inflation, and national security. This failure to address the concerns of the average American has created a vacuum, one that Trump was able to fill by appealing directly to the needs and aspirations of those who feel left behind. So to sum this all up, the 2024 election was a turning point for American politics and a clear indication that the Democrat Party is out of touch and must rethink their platform and their leadership. The Harris-Walz campaign failure to offer a compelling alternative to Trump's vision, coupled with the party's inability to connect with the working class and middle American voters, this points to a need for a serious reevaluation of Democrat Party priorities. The Democrat Party must recognize that Americans are looking for tangible improvements in their lives, not just ideological commitments. And if the Democrats continue to push a platform that's out of sync with the daily concerns of America, then they're going to risk further alienation and continued electoral setbacks. There's no doubt about it. The message of the 2024 election is clear. America wants a government that listens to them and their needs. America wants a government that understands their struggles and is committed to creating real, lasting change for middle America and working class voters. I'm Matt Pierce. I'm a journalist here in Texas, and I think I speak for middle America. If you like what you've heard, please like, subscribe, follow, and share.